Travis Wayne Goodsell. KUTV2 Utah did not get the message from the church prophets to keep silent about Brad Wilcox and just let it go. The prophets for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, after their meeting today, chose to keep silent as well. So, Lincoln Graves did the KUTV2 report about an hour ago. It's interviewing Mormon studies professors at BYU or University of Utah. And so they've expanded their Mormon studies at the University of Utah since I was there 20 years ago. I only had the one class with Mr. Mormonism and the Magic Worldview guy, who died last year, was it? But completely went way off base with his conclusion in that book. And it's so frustrating as YouTube joined in silencing Brad Wilcox stories as they attacked me this morning. I had to again complain by pointing out their hate crime against me. But apparently YouTube made restitution, sort of, and all of a sudden a whole bunch of comments come popping up on my feed from about a month ago. Oh, gee, where'd those come from? They've been hiding comments. The corruption just knows no depths. And so, let's go over the issue. Brad Wilcox, lifelong Mormon, been to BYU, he now teaches at BYU, served a mission, the whole gambit. He's in leadership in the church, young men's second counselor. And so he's 11 years older than I am. And so that would have made him 19 when the priesthood ban was lifted. His birthday's in December 25th, so he's a Christmas baby. So 18, 19, somewhere around there. I can't remember which. I'd have to do the math, and I'm not going to. So probably 18. And so he was about ready to go on his mission. So he's one of those who is going right out into the mission. Well, no, you have to wait till 19. That's right. It's been so long, and it's been a while since Monson changed it to 18, wasn't it? So, yeah, he wasn't the first batch of missionaries to go out, but among the first wave. And yet, despite the change, even with Bruce R. McConkie doing further edits on Mormon doctrine, further edits, everybody knows the church is racist. That's the whole thing. Is that the younger generation of Mormons who are born of the parents that went through this are like shocked because we've kept it a sacred secret. It's just like, it happened, okay. We just continue on traditional Mormon conditions of racism, but for our children, when Brad Wilcox comes out, the children are horrified. Oh my God, did he just say what he said? That's horrible. We're supposed to be a church of love, not racism, not sexism, not bigotry. And all of these issues are attacking the church from their point of view because of the cover-up of the church. They want to put the past in the past, but they don't want to have Mormons re-educated on correct principles, so we're getting grandfathered out, but the younger generation are finding out the horrors of our generation and above. And so this younger generation does not know the quotes from Brigham Young, because the KUTV2 News, talking to Mormon studies professors, they're clueless. Seriously. They said, they talk about it here in the text part. Yeah, sort of talk about it. Where they... so it still leaves lingering the questions of were these of divine origin, or was this simple human racism? Brigham Young tells us. He says God. He says God's law. I did the video for you, quoting from him. God's law to murder mixed race families. He would not accuse Joseph, and so he accuses God. And if they are true professors of Mormon studies, they should have known this. The rest of us Mormons know this. Are the Mormon studies professors not Mormons? Do they have to find people outside of the church to properly teach the subject, and so they don't know the subject? And so there's many other issues of Brigham Young that the church doesn't want to talk about. The one that I found out, everybody had been keeping it a secret from me, is the brothels. Brigham Young set up brothels. And not just set them up, like doing a business. Well, we got to live in the world, so we've got to have things for the people of the world. The justification for the beer and tobacco was the brothels. I finished Brigham Young. Got his whole collection now. And so I've got to go to phase 2 now for that project. But yeah, Orrin Porter Rockwell built the first brothel at the point of the mountain. They call it a hotel. Any of us who watch movies or TV shows placed into the Old West, yeah, the brothel is a hotel. The youth today still go to hotels for sex. Dear God. They can't talk about it. It's a subject that is not faith promoting, and so they just hope that people just don't ever find out. And so in so doing, you're lying to people about the reality that the church isn't true. And that's worse than actually coming out and confessing, yeah, Brigham Young was a racist. Even though it means the church still isn't true. Either way you look at it, church isn't true. You can't do this. You can't have prophets do this. And so for the prophets today, still perpetuating the lies, the cover-ups, the deceptions, because it's not just hoping it goes away. The church has been exposed since recently that their whole plot of religious freedom is exactly what I've been telling you it is. It's so that they can get away with crime. So BYU, where Brad works, yeah, well, that's a religious business, and as a religious business, we can do whatever we want. If we don't want to sell cakes to gay couples, we don't get to sell cakes to gay couples because that's our religious freedom. That's the whole premise behind this. Is that their racism, their sexism, their bigotry, their hatred of the poor will be justified because they're a religion. That's the whole religious freedom movement. And the Arizona bill, yeah, religious freedom. And then today, the Boy Scouts. They had to come up with a compromise because the church refused to be held criminally liable for what they were the major cause of. And Mormons still don't get it. So, I don't know if I'll upload this video or if it'll just go in my archives. I'm not even going to work on it until tomorrow. But these guys aren't asking the right questions here. Either one puts the church at a loss. Because Section 121, many are called, few are frozen. Amen to the authority. It can't be God. Either because the God doesn't exist, or God's supposed to be a God of love, not hate. So what you're saying is that the Mormon God is a God of hate. Well, that's Lucifer. Oh, wait. Brigham Young did say that that is his God. He used his symbol of hate, and so it must be his God. Oops. Church isn't the right church then, is it? All this talk of Jesus is a cover-up. And Jesus isn't even our God. We're not Christian. We're what Christians abusively call pagan. It's a hate comment. It's hate speech for Christians to call our religion pagan, and all of the previous to Constantine religions pagan. They're not pagan. They're the origin of religion. They use the word pagan to designate it as evil and wrong. And they're the ones that are wrong. Constantine created Jesus as a historical character. All this hate that comes from religion And it just won't stop. It won't go away. It just keeps haunting mankind. Holy wars. The whole war in Ukraine. Oh, gee, it just happens to coincide with scriptural prophecy of Magog. Gee. The whole thing is disgusting. The hate that just exists. And all the hate that comes out of the woodwork when I make these videos, and more people are noticing me now. That I have to report people for their hate and their threats with that hate. You know, I'm talking about loving people, that what the church is doing is wrong, and people come and comment on my video about hate, to hate me, to threaten me. I mean, that's an evil that only can be inspired by Lucifer. And yes, that's what Mormons have been indoctrinated in. We've all had to be converted out of Mormonism. And there are just not enough people that are doing it. Even ex-Mormons. You know, you didn't leave because the church was evil. You left because of an issue that the church lied about, deceived you. And then when you did, then the hate from your family, your friends, religious leaders, then attacked you further. But the church refused to come out with a statement to condemn Brad Wilcox. That was a big mistake on their part. They needed to do something, and they didn't. And that tells Mormons all they need to know.